So, folks, we gotta talk about Iran because it's the main thing to talk about right now, and unfortunately, it continues to be very relevant because the president of the United States has picked a fight that is not winnable. It's not a winnable fight. We have to be honest about that. This is a no-win scenario that Donald Trump has wandered into, and let's just take a quick look at where top negotiator JD Vance is on this, shall we?
So the people of Iran can thrive and prosper and join the world economy. And that's the trade that he's offering. He's saying, if you guys commit to not having a nuclear weapon, we are going to make Iran thrive. We're going to make it economically prosperous, and we're going to invite the Iranian people into the world economy in a way they haven't been in my entire life. And that's the kind of Trumpian grand bargain that the president has put on the table. Man, we're going to keep on negotiating and try to make it happen because it would be great for the world. It'd be great for our country. It'd be great for everybody. So I'm going to keep on fighting to make it happen. So,
mostly, though, Iran seems to want to be left alone. Like, that seems to be mostly what they want. And, let's just take a quick look at another part of that Turning Point USA event where JD Vance was to see maybe not everyone is seeing roses here.
So if you want to complain about what happened in Gaza, so if you want, sir, to complain about what happened in Gaza, why don't you complain about Joe Biden and the last administration? We're the administration that solved that problem. And by the way, not only was our administration like the administration that solved the problem, but the president. Excuse me, sir. Right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years because we have taken that situation seriously. And that's one of the things that I'm proud of about our administration is whether it's there or Thailand and Cambodia, we have consistently tried as much as we can to solve these problems, not just complain about them like the guy who just ran away angry.
Yeah, that guy didn't solve the problem. Why didn't that guy solve the problem? Why didn't he solve the genocide in Gaza? Speaking of, here's an article from earlier today by The Guardian. Gaza's yellow line creeps forward as Israeli forces expand zone of control. What is the yellow line, you might ask? It's the ceasefire line. It is the line that decides what is and is not a valid target for Israeli forces in Gaza. And what it means when that line creeps forward is it means where is the live fire zone in Gaza. Meaning if you fall asleep and you wake up in Gaza, you can somehow, weirdly enough, wake up on the wrong side of the yellow line. Because Israel is just moving where that ceasefire zone is. Isn't that cool? They're moving what areas of Gaza they are able to occupy unilaterally because Israel doesn't respect ceasefires. The Israeli army is seizing more and more territory in Gaza under this ceasefire charade. And, it's pretty interesting, actually. Let's take a quick look at what The Guardian found. The yellow line has crept forward in several places, expanding the army-controlled area well beyond the 53% of Gaza territory implied in the original ceasefire maps. According to the research agency Forensic Architecture, by December, Israel had taken 58% of the strip and continued to edge forwards. The line is marked in some places by yellow concrete blocks, many of which were moved in December and January as the army took more territory, particularly in urban areas. All over Gaza, residents awoke to find the line had moved overnight and they were suddenly in a free fire zone. Isn't that fun how that works? Like, the line literally just keeps moving. Which is, by the way, how you have attacks like what happened today in Gaza. In northern Gaza, just earlier today, 5 people were blown up by an Israeli bomb. 3 of those people were children. So when someone yells at JD Vance, you're bombing children, or you're enabling the bombing of children, and JD Vance acts so outraged and talks about how they've solved the problem, they haven't. They just swept it under a rug. And not only that, but the United States is actively bombing children in Iran. We killed 160 children with one double tap strike. It's monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. But at least JD Vance got to act self-righteous as the very peaceful, loving Donald Trump, sends more troops to the Middle East during the ceasefire. Just sends several thousand more troops to the Middle East. Thanks for your dedication. I hear it's not easy to speak right now. It's not. It's physically not easy for me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And what conditions are those troops exactly going to be?
Village Idiot reporting for duty.
Thank you for your service. Mithril, thank you for being a member. Where is Waldo? Thank you for the $5 Canadian. What conditions are those troops going to live under once they go to the Middle East, by the way? Because, America, we bomb everyone, but we take care of our troops, Don't we take care of our troops, folks? Well, USA Today actually got a picture of some of the meals being served aboard the ships that have been deployed to the Middle East. And this is apparently what is passing for lunch. Now, I want you all to understand the problem of feeding troops has been one that is recurrent throughout all of military history. And I want you all to understand there's one eternal rule of one eternal rule of warfare. And that is you have to feed your troops. If you cannot feed your troops, you don't have an army. The one thing above all else that America has typically had going for it is its solid grasp of logistics. The fact that the bozos the Trump administration have put in power cannot get food to the ships they have deployed is damning. Absolutely damning. Of course, the US doesn't actually care about its working soldier, but it's beyond that, right? The United States has never cared about the working soldier. You can see how veterans are so easily disposed of once they are here after their tour of duties are done. But what is staggering is an inability to actually deploy the simplest and most essential thing that people need in this conflict, which is food. Now, why exactly has this degraded logistical capacity happened? Well, fun fact for you guys, it's because of the Doge boys. It's because of Elon Musk and his Doge boys. Here's an article from USA Today from January 8th of this year. Doge cuts prompt scramble to feed troops at remote US base. An army base in Alaska responsible for protecting the U.S. homeland from nuclear missile attack has struggled to feed its soldiers in recent months because of the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the federal workforce, according to a military document. Fort Greely is tucked in the rugged interior of the 49th state, just north of a gap in the glacier-capped mountains of the Alaska Range. The base experienced a critical disruption in food service operations after the remote army base lost essential federal civilian cooks in the wake of efforts to shrink the workforce. The document, a legal justification for an emergency no-bid contract awarded to staff the fort's dining facility, blamed the issue on staff retirements combined with a federal hiring freeze and a buyout program launched by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency shortly after President Donald Trump's inauguration last year. So basically, to kind of summarize the issue as it stands, is that the United States military privatized a lot of its food logistical programs, meaning that the US government started giving out contracts, no bid contracts, meaning that there's no bidding involved. The government just gives a contract to a private company. Okay? just decided to, instead of doing food within the US military, they privatized the system that provides food to the troops. And it turns out, by privatizing that and putting it at the discretion of, say, Doge cuts, well, the system that supplies food to troops is broken as hell. So the logistical system that has long allowed the United States to basically deploy anywhere in the world at any time is broken. So they're not able to feed troops properly anymore. And genuinely, when we are looking at the fuel costs for deploying the US military, when we're looking at the breakdown in logistics, whether it's the aircraft carrier that was on fire, had a multi-day fire because of their laundry room, or the food logistical breakdown, like, this is stuff that makes us unable to function with the military. And that's basically the only thing the United States has going on right now geopolitically. Yeah, the US has Ford flooded with sewage. It's crazy. But you know what? We got one guy who's going to be able to get us back on track, and his name is Donald J. Trump. Let's see how Donald Trump is doing these days. I'm sure he's mentally in some tip-top shape. Let's take a look at him from a recent press conference, huh?
Millions of American small businesses, including restaurants, dry cleaners, corner stores. What is a corner store? I've never heard that term. I know what a corner store is, but I've never heard it described. A corner store. Who the hell wrote that, please? And more. Millions of American.
You've never heard the term corner store? You're from goddamn New York. There are bodegas, like, everywhere. How have you never heard that term before? How is that possible? They have corner stores on Wall Street. Like, even if you're a rich asshole in New York City, you know what a corner store is. He's more familiar with bodega? No, he's not. He's genuinely not. He doesn't know what... He's just a regular guy. He knows what a corner store is. He's just a regular guy. God, he must have dementia. Exactly. Brain rot is squishy. Well, okay, maybe the president doesn't have our back, but maybe the Secretary of Defense has our back. We got Pete Hegseth. Let's check in on Pete. Maybe Pete's gonna fix all these problems with the U.S. military. Let's check it out.
Our press are just like these Pharisees. Not all of you, but the legacy Trump-hating press. Your politically motivated animus for President Trump nearly completely blinds you from the brilliance of our American warriors. The Pharisees scrutinized every good act in order to find a violation, only looking for the negative. The hardened hearts of our press are calibrated only to impugn. I would ask you to open your eyes to the goodness, the historic success of our troops, the courage of this president, and this historic moment for a deal that could end the Iranian nuclear threat, the incredible battlefield victory laid before your eyes, the not one, but two incredible rescue missions, miracles, you might say.
Yeah, so Pete Hegseth's new go-to phrase is to call the press Pharisees. The US Navy is correct. More fake news from the Pharisee press. This basically gives the entire game away for what Pete Hegseth is doing. Okay? Guys, in case you don't know or understand what he's saying here, he's saying the Jewish press. He's specifically invoking Lügenpresse. Like, it's not just like fake news anymore. Like, it also has the anti-Semitism there now. Okay? In Christian circles, in fundamentalist Christian circles, the Pharisees are the bad Jews who are liars and got Jesus Christ crucified. That's what these fundamentalist Christians, that's how they view Pharisees. And when Pete Hegseth is invoking the Pharisee press, he's saying the lying Jewish press. He's being an anti-Semite actively. We have gotten to the point where the head of the United States military is straight up doing the anti-Semitism while also attacking the press. Oh, six, so Fourth Reich. I mean, it's kind of weird that we're in this recurring thing where it turns out, hey, wait a minute, that RFK Jr., he's doing a lot of Nazi shit. Hey, wait a minute, this guy over here in the Trump administration's doing a lot of Nazi shit. Hey, wait a minute, Pete Hegseth's actually being like an anti-Semitic neo-Nazi in charge of our military. That's crazy. Like, I can only say it so many times. This entire administration is just a fucking neo-Nazi white supremacist project. And that's not me being hyperbolic, that's just facts. Yeah, also a lot of evangelicals, fundamentalist Christians, support the Zionist project because they believe it is the fulfillment of biblical prophecy to bring about the end of the world via summoning Jesus Christ. Anyway, all of this brings us to this report from about a week ago. The US considers $20 billion cash for uranium deal with Iran. And I gotta tell you guys, I saw this and I had an internal meltdown for like a solid hour because everything that the Republicans have been communicating about Iran for the past decade has been a condemnation of Obama giving Iran billions of dollars with the JCPOA, which effectively would have prevented this entire situation from happening if Trump hadn't just ripped it up. But they have been talking nonstop. Obama gave Iran money. Obama gave Iran money. Obama gave Iran money. And now they're trying to negotiate to give Iran its own money. They're doing the same thing. The point I'm making is that they are doing the exact same thing that they've been attacking Obama for the entire time. Like, Obama didn't give money to Iran. He unfroze funds that were already Iran's funds. This is the exact same thing. Oh my God. It's so fucking stupid. And I gotta be honest with you, this isn't gonna happen either. Because again, that would be predicated on the Iranians recognizing the United States operating in good faith, and the United States is not operating in good faith, very clearly. Like,
now, the Iranians, we know you can't trust them any further than you can throw them. But the president is intent on peace. He is the president of peace. And so we will maintain that pressure economically. It will have an impact. We will just continue to strangle out the IRGC, which will disallow them from funding any terrorist proxies and moving on our own military and Israel.
Okay.
So
he's the president of peace. That's why we have to strangle them. You know, that thing we do when we're in peace times where we strangle someone? It's a peaceful strangling. Don't worry. My name's Joni. We're all going to die Ernst. God, I hate this lady. I hate her so much. And that brings us to Chuck Schumer. Hey, Chuck Schumer, what are you doing? You're trying to invoke the War Powers Act to stop this, right? Right? Because you're looking outside, you're seeing how angry everyone is. You're seeing how aroused everyone is.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Oh, wait. Top U.S. Democrat Schumer opposed resolution blocking sale of armed bulldozers to Israel. You know, the armored bulldozers that they're using to go into war zones to demolish villages that they are intent on ethnically cleansing in Lebanon and in Gaza and in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Not only can you not block the sale of arms to Israel, but you're actively supporting selling armed bulldozers that are going to be used to like systematically destroy neighborhoods. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? This entire conflict is fucked up beyond belief. Now, if you think, well, at least the economic damage is stopped because, of course, the Strait of Hormuz is open now, right? I mean, look at what Donald Trump said just a few days ago.
This will be a great and brilliant day for the world because Iran has just announced that the Strait of Hormuz is fully open and ready for business and full passage. But the naval blockade, with the greatest navy in the world, from the greatest military the world has ever seen, we built it during my first term. We built it. They said I was crazy. We weren't so crazy, were we? Will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete and fully signed. And this process, we're getting along well, but who knows with anyone, but who knows with Iran in particular. This process should go very quickly, and that most of the points are already negotiated and agreed to. You'll be very happy. This will.
So it's all open except for the U.S. blockade. So, like, no problems, right? Except, Kuwait, as a country, declares force majeure on oil shipments. Now, what does it mean to declare force majeure? It basically means that as a country, Kuwait is saying we cannot fulfill our trade obligations to export the oil we have agreed to export. Through no fault of our own, we cannot do this. So we are declaring that we are unable to do it and exercising that, option in our contracts. Kuwait, by the way, huge producer of oil. Awesome stuff.
Is it too much to ask for a government run by people who don't make Cobra Commander look both competent and ethical?
Apparently in Trump's America 2.0, Let's see how Donald Trump is doing lately, over like the past, let's say, 48 hours. I'm winning a war by a lot. Things are going very well. Our military's been amazing. And if you read the fake news, like the failing New York Times, the absolutely horrendous and disgusting Wall Street Journal, I can't do it. He's just insane posting. It's just insane posting. Like, Operation Midnight Hammer was a success, but all the fake news media are trying to lie about it. Iran has violated the ceasefire numerous times. To Iranian leaders, we will soon be in negotiations with my representatives. Iran, by the way, backed out of the negotiations because they did not trust U.S. negotiators. Never allow traitor Democrats like low IQ person Hakeem Jeffries or crying Chuck Schumer or the totally corrupt fake news media such as the phony and decaying Wall Street Journal and the failing New York Times, or dying 60 Minutes to demean and criticize Operation Midnight Hammer. Statement of President Donald J. Trump, based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we've been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such a time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. Basically, as the ceasefire deadline loomed, Donald Trump chickened out and named an indefinite ceasefire to be in place, while also constantly threatening Iran. Just, here he is, just ranting and raving because the Wall Street Journal published an article titled "The Iranians Take Trump for a Sucker." And he's just incredibly fucking mad about it. But don't write about how mad he is. He's not mad, but he is very mad. Iran doesn't want the Strait of Hormuz closed. They want it open so they can make $500 million a day. My brother in Christ, they closed the Strait of Hormuz. What are you talking about? You can't blockade their blockade. It doesn't work. That's not how that works. God. Now you might be wondering, hey, this Donald Trump fellow, he seems pretty unstable. Well, apparently, let's just take a quick look here. According to The Independent, Trump believed coming across as unstable and insulting in controversial posts could bring the Iranians to the table. Oh, God. No. Look, you guys don't understand. I'm not acting insane because I am insane. I'm acting insane because it's all part of a brilliant 5D chess strategy that I have.
That was some weird shit.
That has never worked in the history of anything. Nixon also tried to act like an irresponsible madman, and it didn't work out for him either. Like, acting like you're a fucking crazy person doesn't work out in your favor, generally speaking. And, they're trying to say, well, we're interested in negotiations, while also putting more sanctions on Iran. All of this is stupid. It's so stupid. Here's Alan Fisher with Al Jazeera, which I thought he wrote a pretty good breakdown of this. On Monday, Trump said there'd be no extension of the ceasefire, and way back on Friday, he said that there was going to be a deal, probably by the end of the weekend, that the Iranians had agreed to a great deal. The question is, who is he talking to, and was he hearing that from? It's now been decided that J.D. Vance will not be going to Islamabad, but there will be an extension of the ceasefire. Just a couple of hours before he announced the extension, Trump said that if there was no deal, then he expected to restart the bombing, saying the military is ready to go. They've rearmed over the past 2 weeks, and that is something that Donald Trump is aware of, and certainly the Iranians are aware of as well. But this opens up the opportunity for further talks. It's Donald Trump saying they're looking for a unified proposal. But that's a slight change as well, because the United States was expecting Iran just to accept all of the proposals that were put in front of them, including no nuclear weapons ever, the return of enriched uranium, which U.S. troops were going to get, and also the Strait of Hormuz would be opened, even at one point suggesting that he might be in co-charge of that. Like, this isn't madman theory. This is just madness. It's not madman theory. You are just mad. Like, we are in, cuckoo bananas land. And Donald Trump is not going to be able to get us out of this. And I want to point out one other thing as well. Well, two other things. Number one is that, while, yes, U.S. troops have had a couple weeks to rearm, the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, released a report that found the United States had used 50% of its Patriot missiles and more than half of its THAAD interceptors and more than 45% of the munitions stockpiled for precision strikes. Like, in just the handful of weeks of combat that the United States entered into with Iran, we have blown through half of the munitions stockpile that make the United States effective at all. Like, let's be very clear about what that means. We do not have the capability to fight Iran for a prolonged period of time. We do not have the capability to fight Iran for another 2 months, which is exactly why the Trump administration is kind of panicking right now. It's like, well, we'll give you an indefinite ceasefire while we discuss terms that Iran is not negotiating on right now. This is a fucking failure, and it's a conflict we could have never won. This is what happens when you put a madman in charge of the entire US military. And it also means that basically, if the United States can't even keep US troops stocked with these interceptors to stop US troops from being blown up, well, what does that mean for our allies in the region that are intercepting drones and missiles using our same stockpile? What does it mean for Israel intercepting all of those drones and missiles, also with our stockpile of munitions? It means that this is not sustainable. It means that Iran is going to win this, and they kind of know it, all they have to do is outlast whatever stockpiles there are. It seems like right now, they're going to be able to do that. And as far as the Strait of Hormuz will just be open tomorrow, forever, if we get a deal with Iran. I want to remind you something that I talked about several weeks ago. The U.S. had 2 mine-clearing vessels moved into dry dock for repairs. We don't have more of those. It turns out the Strait of Hormuz right now is full of mines. This is from earlier today from the Washington Post. Clearing the Strait of Hormuz of mines could take 6 months, according to the Pentagon. Even if the United States brute forced it, got into the Strait of Hormuz, it would not be usable without Iran's help for at least another 6 months, which is not a tenable situation for the global economy. The United States cannot actually weather that amount of time with the Strait of Hormuz closed. So, I don't know. This is just an unwinnable conflict for the United States. And the longer it goes on, the worse it is going to get for basically everybody involved. And also everyone who is not involved. It's just going to get worse for everybody around the world. And everyone around the world knows that Donald Trump and this administration are responsible for everything that has happened here. So that's where things stand with Iran right now, folks. The only way out of this is organizing. I know people get sick of hearing me say it. The only way out of this is to join your local Dems, to join your local DSA, to build up grassroots political power, and actually topple not just Republicans, but corporate Democrats. People like Chuck Schumer, who's so aroused right now.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
You got to get organized. Make your Democrats more progressive. Cut the corporate Dems out of the party. Uproot them root and stem from the entire apparatus. You can do that on the local level. If enough of us do it on the local level, we can do it on the state level too. Okay? If you need help getting started with that, join our Discord, reach out to Dragonfly to help organize with your local Dems. If you want to get involved with your local DSA, again, Discord, reach out to Gamergy for help joining your local DSA or even making a new branch of the DSA for your area. And you can make your Dems more progressive. You can stop corporate Democrat bullshit from taking hold in your local area. And you can keep your community safe from ICE, safe from AI data centers. You can improve things in your local area if you get involved. And if you get involved with your local DSA, you can help organize labor. One of the most powerful tools available to us, our labor. You can help organize that. So again, if you don't want to join the Discord, you can head over to riverboat.gg and you can find Dragonfly and Gamergy actually right there. Both right there. Doing our little salute emote. And they can help you get started because taking your first steps are it's often the hardest part. But this is not as intimidating as it seems. 95% of organizing is just showing the fuck up. And I think you guys can do that. I believe in you guys. Is there still a general strike on for May 1st? Yes. All that being said, folks, check out the recent interview I did with Karishma Manzoor out in New Hampshire, who is challenging Chris Pappas for the Democratic seat in New Hampshire. Go check out that interview. It's very good. Go volunteer for her campaign as well, if you feel inclined. And also, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words, helping the algorithm. And also, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is non-tucking lingerie. It is sexy. It is femme. And you know what? It's comfy as hell. So check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack, Riverboat.